Greetings, members one and all of the Salivation Nation. This particular story illustrates why it is wise to hold gold and silver. Yes, indeed. This particular story is a sad tale of a founder of a crypto exchange that has passed away unexpectedly, and they can't repay the $190 million to the clients because the founder was the only one with the password. And it's quite an unusual circumstance and situation here. Let's explore here. This comes to us from Gizmodo.com. Canadian crypto exchange Quadriga CX says it cannot repay most of the $190 million in client holdings after its 30-year-old founder, Gerald Cotton, the only person who knew the passwords to its cold storage, unexpectedly died in India in 2018, in December. This is reported by CoinDesk on Friday. In a sworn affidavit with the Nova Scotia Supreme Court, widow Jennifer Robertson said that Quadriga CX owes its customers some $190 million in both cryptocurrency and fiat money. Quadriga CX has filed for creditor protection because it says it cannot access the funds stored in cold storage, just as comparatively smaller amount in a hot wallet used for transfers. The exchange holds roughly 26,500 Bitcoin, or $92.3 million in US, 11,000 Bitcoin Cash, which is $1.3 million, 11,000 Bitcoin Cash SV, which is $707,000, 35,000 Bitcoin Gold, which is $352,000, nearly 200,000 Litecoins, and about 430,000 Ether. 46 million totaling $147 million according to the affidavit. Look at all those forks and crazy stuff happening with those. It was not clear what portion of the exchange crypto holdings were kept in cold storage versus its hot wallet. In the affidavit, Robertson explained that only a minimal amount of coins were stored in the hot wallet, but specifics were not provided. Robertson also said that Cotton held sole responsibility for handling the funds and coins, and no other members of the team could access the stored funds. Quadriga CX announced Cotton's death in mid-January, saying he had died due to complications with Crohn's disease on December the 9th, 2018, while traveling in India, where he was opening an orphanage to provide a home and safe refuge for children in need. While Robertson has Cotton's laptop in her possession, CoinDesk wrote, she says she did not know the password, and a technical expert recruited by the firm has been unable to bypass the encryption. She says also Cotton left behind no business records. Some other reporting has suggested it is possible some of the funds in question moved after the case was publicized, and though the evidence was not definitive, it, in the strange circumstances of Cotton's death, spurred accusations that his demise was either faked or the pretext for an exit scam by other parties with access to the holdings, according to CCN. However, Robertson included a death certificate in the filings, CoinDesk wrote. According to CBC, the government confirmed a Canadian had died in India, but could not offer more details due to privacy laws. As CBC noted, the Canadian Imperial Bank of Commerce froze $26 million worth of Quadriga CX's assets in January 2018 after finding irregularities with payment processing. And a document from the Ontario Superior Court of Justice in 2018 concluded that $67 million worth of transactions ended up improperly transferred into the personal accounts of Custodian Inc., the payment processor. The issue was resolved, though, according to CoinDesk, Quadriga CX says the legal fight, as well as ongoing issues with payment processors, has severely compromised their ability to access tens of millions of dollars worth of holdings held by the processors. A 2017 Wall Street Journal article noted that unlike stock exchanges, which only facilitate transactions. Crypto exchanges are uniquely vulnerable because they store cryptocurrencies for their customers. However, typically, the threats associated with their practices are hackers and other cyber criminals rather than lost passwords. That just goes to show you that these exchanges have been hacked in the past, by the way. We've seen stories about major exchanges being hacked in the past. And that's really the custodians of these particular, of the Bitcoins. You know, they say the blockchain is very secure. And I do question that even to a point, you know, the technology behind Bitcoin. You know, my feeling, anything with ones and zeros has the potential to be hacked. In the filings, Robertson wrote that the exchange urgently needs a stay of proceedings, which will allow Quadriga and its contractors additional time to find whatever stores of cryptocurrency may be available, and also to negotiate the bank drafts available to Quadriga, CoinDesk wrote. This is a tough lesson learned, Calgary customer Elvis Kavalik told CBC, adding that he had been unable to withdraw $15,000 in holdings in October of 2018. I would probably avoid cryptocurrency in the future, Kavalik said. They have left us completely in the dark. I'm kind of preparing for the worst. Well, and that's just it. I think this is probably an unusual circumstance considering that he was the only one with the password, and there may be some other shenanigans going on. Who knows? A death certificate can be faked, but nonetheless, my guess is he probably really did die, and they would probably, with a little bit of elementary police detective work, they could probably find his body, you know, more than likely, especially if he died from complications of Crohn's disease. A sad case for him, but more than likely, most of the other exchanges that are held up probably have a bit more accountability than this guy's. But nonetheless, it just goes to show you that, you know, you never know what could happen. And there's, with these exchanges out there, with Bitcoin and all cryptocurrencies, really still in its infancy. You know, they've not really matured yet. And a lot of these, obviously, we've seen a pullback in cryptocurrency prices and all the major cryptocurrencies for sure. And that, I think, is probably tantamount to sort of a, you know, beyond the hype type of thing that's going to get this thing more settled and secure and accepted and utilized. And so once that does happen, I think things will kind of turn around. We'll see what happens with these particular kind of things. But anyways, so post your thoughts about this particular situation. What do you think? To me, I think it's a situation that just goes to show that though I'm not against cryptocurrencies and putting your money in them and making money off of them, there is a level of risk that I think you're not seeing with holding physical gold and silver. And by the way, even physical gold and silver backed cryptocurrencies, you know, there could be the same type of thing that could happen in there. So I caution anybody looking into those. But it is nice to have the protection of the precious metals, I would think, in a cryptocurrency. But even those, you know, operating through exchanges, you know, you've got to think in. I think there's a lot of work that needs to be done through the exchanges. You know, transaction times and fees and all that and the like, you know, will certainly be something to consider, but also the security and the validity and the legitimacy of some of these exchanges needs to be explored. If you actually hold gold and silver coins, rounds, bars, bullion, and the like, you know, once you test it, it's there. It's not going anywhere if it's in your possession, you know, given the assumption that you can guard it. And if there's ever a fire, by the way, and let's say that it's an intense enough fire that can just destroy and get through your double fire protected safe, and it melts it all down, well, that's just melted gold and silver. It's still gold and silver, and for all intents and purposes, it's preserved its intrinsic value. You may have lost the form that the gold and silver were in, but the gold and silver itself is not lost. It's there. And I think that's an important thing to kind of consider when you talk about these kind of digital cryptocurrencies and the like, is that you're at the mercy of the technology. And so keep that in mind with gold and silver. And I believe that those of you who do hold cryptocurrencies and are maybe stumbling across this video that don't hold gold and silver, you might consider expanding your portfolio a bit. Don't give up cryptocurrencies by any stretch. I'm not saying that, but consider gold and silver as an alternative, something that is the ultimate safe haven. I'd like to extend a multitude of gratitude to you all for watching and encourage you to please rate, comment, and subscribe.